Hello and welcome guys to the Brentford tier list video ranking. Today we are going to be ranking the obviously the Brentford players based on our lovely little tier guides. I wanted to do Brentford because, to be honest with you, I think Brentford have been probably my favourite apart from Spurs in the Premier League for at least as long as I've been watching, because I've really enjoyed seeing how they've integrated themselves into the league despite not really having the experience. I think there's some weird people, unfortunately, who go on about like how the Premier League's been the integrity and the teams like Brentford, Bournemouth need to be out of the league. Brighton, it's completely stupid. I want to first of all say, I know there's not much to do with this, but I wanted to quickly point this out. If you are one of those people, then realistically, a lot of the teams you really have grown to love would not even be in the Premier League to begin with because of your criteria. It would just be what the first teams that were allowed, that came up with the league specifically. I think we're in that, so we're fine. I might be wrong on that though, so don't push my luck. I won't push my luck with that, but I do think that is true. But I think the Premier League is all about diversity and helping new teams push up through, and you see new players come out all the time, out with the old and with the new, and then the old becomes the new. Anyway, that's getting very much off topic. I wanted to just quickly say that because I've seen a bit of that recently. We'll start with good old, is that Ben Mee? So I was about to say Christian Aya. That would not have been a good start to this if I had said that. Ben Mee, I think average at best. I'm gonna quickly get my phone for this because I'm not 100% sure. 100, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I don't think he's played a ton this season so far. He's on 5 games this season. Last season it was 16. Obviously that first season he played nearly every single game for them -1. I would say probably is a decent backup, centre back. He's old, but he's not terrible. Good backup centre back, sure. Probably does need to get moved on at some point, especially with some of the youth coming through, as we'll talk about a bit later. But I think it's a good starting point for like that kind of mid-tier player. And Mbeumo, however, I think it's fair to say Mbeumo has to be at best of them all. Let's be real with ourselves. I mean, the man is a fucking machine. I mean, you go to his first Premier League season, right? They came up, obviously Tony was there. A lot of people said in general the reason why Mbeumo plays so was because of Tony, which is not true, and it's been proven to not be true for a while now. But his first season, 4 goals, 7 assists in the league. Very decent, There's some very high quality players that aren't even getting that this, haven't got that in the previous season, won't probably get that this year. I think that's very good, especially for his debut Premier League season. Next season, 9 goals, 8 assists. Again, fantastic. That was obviously the 22-23 season. That was probably Brentford's best season to date in the Premier League, although I think this season could be their best. Last season it was 9 goals and 6 assists, which is very good. That's 15 goals and assists. That is still a very, very good tally. But this year is 18 games. By the way, last year, he played 25 games. So, 15 goals and assists in 25 games is very good. Anyway, this season, 18 games, 10 goals and 2 assists. He's incredible, and he's been playing amazingly. His link up with Wiss is brilliant. I think in general he's been that heartbeat of the Brentford team. And don't get me wrong, I think Brentford are doing brilliantly because of how good they are in general as a squad, very underrated. But I do think without him they wouldn't be quite as good as they are right now. I don't think that's that debatable, being honest with ourselves. But credit where credit is due, definitely for Mbeumo. He is a fantastic player, and it doesn't take a genius to know that. Move on, we've got Norgard here. My thing is being slow again, my apologies. But Norgard is, that's the one. Norgard is obviously the Brentford captain, and I think honestly probably one of the most underrated Premier League players, especially for Brentford. Because let's be real, he is the captain of that side. He has been very much a solid player for them for a long while now. He's had links to a lot, some very top tier clubs. Not saying Brentford aren't, but I'm pretty sure he got linked to us at some point. I know Chelsea got linked to him at some point. Obviously Chelsea won't sign anyone that's old, so but he's a very decent player for me, very underrated. I'm gonna go as put him ballers, to be honest with you. I know he got sent off a little bit ago, but I don't think that's that bad. I mean, every player has a bad game from time to time, and I think he's been very good. all things considered, in his whole Premier League career with Brentford, talking this season especially, I think he's been pretty decent. Very much that centerpiece DM that they do not necessarily rely on, but it helps their sort of more creative players, especially in that midfield, go on and push up a bit forward. I think that's Onyeka. I could be wrong on that. Although I think Onyeka got sold, thinking about it. Where is Onyeka? No, he's at Augsburg. What am I about? Is that that's the ex-Arsenal player, I think. Sorry, this is very unprofessional of me. Josh Da Silva, I think. Unless I'm going crazy. Is that Rico? No, it's not. I think it is Josh Da Silva. I mean, Josh Da Silva's okay. I don't think he's particularly incredible of a player, and I'm not just saying that because he's ex-Arsenal. He's not exactly a Brentford regular starter, although last season he was, to be fair to him. But not last season, sorry, the 22-23 season. But he hasn't actually played this season. He has had some injury problems from what I remember, but I would probably say sell. I wouldn't say as soon as possible, but I would say Josh Da Silva is one where I would go. You look at that squad, could they make maybe 5-10 million at a push for him? Probably could, yeah. Carvalho has been quite funny. His stints so far at Brentford. Would I say he's a complete failure? Fuck no, I think he's going to be fine, but I do find it really funny with his dad saying he should leave the club. On his Twitter, he said, "Son, you need to leave this club," which I thought was really funny. But yeah, I'd say maybe loan with Carvalho. I don't think he's quite the standard yet, but maybe you could argue here. I think, to be honest with you, what they're doing right now with him, keeping on the bench / backup player, giving him those super sub opportunities, I think it makes the most sense to me. Flecken, I'm going to put average at best. I think he's a decent goalkeeper. I don't think he's insane. I think he had a bit of a rough start with Brentford career, did salvage it and has been pretty good since, but had a bit of a rough patch, been better. I would say a 6 out of 10 goalkeeper. The standard-ish goalkeeper. He's all right. Yeah, he's a decent player. What I will say about him though is I can't remember for certain how true this is, but I am pretty certain that he is sort of become the Netherlands #1 goalkeeper now, which is, to be fair, impressive, all things considered. Yeah, I am definitely not stalling because I forgot who this guy is. I'm sorry. That's not Rico Henry. It's not Pinnock. It's not Magoma. It's not Goldfield. That's not Josh Da Silva, is it? No, because we already did Josh Da Silva. Is that Onyeka? Why is he on here? He's, oh, for fuck's sake. Well, Onyenka's not here. I don't think in particular Brentford are that interested in keeping him anymore, so I'd probably just sell him. This is really testing my ball knowledge because I don't remember any of these guys now. That's not. Fuck. This is very, very professional. Where the fuck is that? I am so sorry, guys. I am very, very sorry about this. So Gustavo Nunes, right? Sorry. I mean, I think he's on loan anyway. If he's not, I would say loan him, but he's a decent young Brazilian talent. I mean, Brazil's got a ton of fucking talent, to be fair. Could be quite good. I don't know enough about him particularly. I just know he's pretty much he's well hyped from Brazil. I'm sure he's a a decent enough player who I'm sure he'd be good once they can give him more game time. Next one, I do remember Aya. I mean, he's a quality centre back, really, isn't it? I wouldn't say particularly he's an insane player by any means, but I think you look at sort of where when he came in, how Brentford have played. Brentford haven't been the best defensively, but you'd think Aya would do a half decent job as a backup centre back for a decent high level club. I think for Brentford's level, he is a very decent, dependable, regular starter. I don't think there's much more to it, really. Roroslev, he's okay. backup wing back normally, but obviously since Brentford had some very horrible injuries with their wing backs, which we'll get to, he's been playing more. I don't think he's been awful. I don't think he's been great. Obviously another Danish player, and Brentford do love their Danish players, which is fine. It's actually quite cool. And I think, yeah, he's been alright, all things considered, to be honest with you. But is he an incredible player? Well, yeah, that's where the debatability comes in. I think it's fair to say. Just making sure, because I might have accidentally fucked something up here. Yes, Paris Magoma. I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. I mean, he's a youngster. Actually, I don't think he's particularly young anymore. I would probably say sell or loan, whichever one you like, really. He's not one I would say desperately sell, but I don't know. They've got quite a few young midfield talent coming through who I do think are higher in potential and probably in current ability, if we're talking FM style. So, it's harder to necessarily say there's a place for him there, but I do know he is a decent enough player, so maybe a championship loan / sale could do him quite a good world of good, to be honest with you. Matthias Jensen, average at best. He's okay, not a terrible player, decent squad player, centre midfielder. Maybe you could argue sell, especially if they bring in Frendrup in January. I think that would be a good player to move on, apart from the ones you already have there. Quite a lot of them are midfield, actually all of them are, so maybe you could argue here, but I wouldn't say sell as soon as possible because I feel like that's a bit mean. Damsgaard, apart from this season, has been pretty terrible for Brentford, so I would feel kind of mean. I feel very muchly wrong putting him in like ballers or best of them all. By any means, he would not go in best of them all anyway, but I think I would be alright putting him in pretty good because he's been very good this season. If he continues it and has a consistent good season, the sky's the limit. He could push on. He could push on to be that sort of player we all thought he was going to be after that Denmark, obviously Euros performances, which was insane. I think that's Kevin Shard. Pretty certain that's Kevin Shard. God, again, I'm so sorry. Yes, that is it. No, that is Miles Harris. Sorry, Miles Harris. It's hard to judge with him specifically because he is quite young as well. He's obviously out on loan in general, and I think it's, where is he on loan? Actually, think about it. He's at Portsmouth. That's it. Yeah. No. Where is he on loan? Fuck. I'm sorry. He is on loan at he's on loan at Swansea, that's it, yeah. I mean, again, he's young enough. He's, 22 now. I mean, if he has a good loan spell, maybe keep him or sell him. I would say, again, I would feel harsh putting him in loan, the sell as soon as possible. I put him in the loan because he is on loan, so, yeah. And his age as well. Aaron Hickey, I love Aaron Hickey a lot. He is one I'm very, very sad for more than anything else, because you got to look at it here, right? Aaron Hickey came in from Bologna with stupid hype, and for good reason. For me personally, I think he's a fucking baller. I just find it really sad how he's not been able to play, because I mean, obviously Scotland have an incredible track record with their wing backs, especially in general on that right side right now. I mean, obviously the left side as well, but I mean, actually, I wouldn't say the right side. I'd say both have got a lot of great players coming through there. I think, unfortunately, same with the left back, which we'll get into in a second, with Rico Henry. Hickey has suffered from awful injury problems, and as much as I would love to put him in ballers, he's gonna have to go in. Needs more games / starts, and I don't mean that in the sense that they should play him right now, because obviously he is injured, and that would kind of be illegal and very muchly a probably some form of war crime. I'm not even gonna lie. But obviously when he comes back, it's hard to judge him yet because he hasn't really played, and I do still believe there's a massive player in there. He's young enough to the point where I don't think it's fair to rule him off or write him off. but hopefully he can overcome the injury problems. And just like for instance, oh my fucking god, this is where my memory is fucking dying. Reece James, right back. Some things bigger than football, and you hope that players like that can come back and come through their horrible injury problems, and still prove that they can still fight for their football career. Because it's just sad otherwise, really. Iger Thiago hasn't played a ton yet because of that injury. I would say average at best, but could definitely crawl into pretty good or even ballers at some point. I do rate that kind of player for them because I think Ivan Toney definitely did have that sort of height and the heading ability, as well as obviously just a brilliant goal scorer in general. I think you give him more time, he could get considering he's been out for a bit, assuming no more massive injuries, if he gets 10-12 goals in the league, I think that's a very decent debut season. He can improve on that. Obviously maybe don't start him considering how great Wissa and Wemo have been. Be harder to fit him in, but I think 10-12 goals in the league, maybe even in all competitions, I think that's pretty decent. That's Nathan Collins. Nathan Collins I think is overhated. I get why he is sort of criticised more, because obviously the price tag is quite big and he's on paper I think the most expensive Irish player of all time. But he's an okay centre-back, let's be real with ourselves. Brentford haven't been great defensively. I don't think it's fair to blame that on one player. I think in general, due to injuries and due to sort of the players who are playing aren't playing amazingly at centre-back, all things considered, I don't think it's fair to judge him too harshly. He's an okay player, I would say. Kim Jae-soo, I'm really liking the look of Kim Jae-soo. I put him in needs more games such starts because it's hard to judge him just yet. But he is for me one of Brentford's real gems that they could emerge onto the Premier League in general. I think South Korea have a lot of really good talent coming through, and considering you got to look at how Brentford's backline has played, in particular, they haven't been awful by any means. They have been leaking some goals. And he has recently made his Premier League debut as well, off the bench, but still impressive enough. I think he could genuinely get in a shout with getting some more game time, and hopefully will push players like Aya, Collins to get a few more starts, because I do think he deserves it. I really do. I think he is a overall very good player. I can't even lie. And moving on, we've got Jayden Magoma, who is an ex-Tottenham Academy player, went to Southampton, and then Brentford bought him recently. I think they brought him on the deadline day. They brought him on deadline day, yeah. And I think, to be honest with you, he is a fucking baller. We have a few of those ex-Academy players who we're going to look back on in a few years and go, why the fuck did we let them go? I get why with some, because as much as I did not agree with Jude going, and I promise I won't try to make this long, as much as I didn't agree with Jude going, as much as I didn't agree with Santiago going just yet, at least they had the age sort of reasoning. But players like Jayden Magoma, how did we let them slip through our hands? I didn't even particularly rate him, but the Chelsea one, I forget his name, players like that slipping through our hands for that kind of prize. Marcus Edwards, silly. Anyway, Magoma, very good player, needs more games to starts to fully judge yet, but trust me, the potential is there. Yunus Emery Konak, again, sort of needs more games to start. As I say, Brentford have a really good core of youth players. You can probably put an extra one in there just a second, but they have a really good core of youth players. Yarmouk is the other one. You look at it, Kim Jae-soo for me has the potential to be probably a top 6 centre-back at a minimum. Magoma for me has the potential to be honestly a top 4 left-back in the league, like a top 4 team left-back in the league. I think Emery Konak could definitely be, again, a top 6, or arguably a top 4 starting DM. And Yarmouk, I think, could be one of the world's best if he can get to that potential. I truly believe that. I think he is a phenomenal talent. And I think soon, hopefully, he's probably the closest to breaking into that first team out of the youth players in general, and for good reason. He is absolutely exceptional. Rico Henry, another one, is hard to, same with Hickey, it's hard to put him in anything other than needs more games to start, because again, as far as I'm aware, he is still very muchly injured, and it's it's hard to judge. I really do rate him again. He's older than Aaron Hickey. He's still not terribly old as well, so he could come back and still get play well. But when he was playing for them, he was exceptional, very very good player. I think certain England have been awful at left back. I think he's very unlucky to have been injured at this time, because I think he would have gotten into that Euro squad regarding he had a good or decent last season. Then again, players like Tyrick Mitchell weren't included in that squad over fucking like half-injured Luke Shaw, so maybe not. Wissa, baller. I'm going to pull up the stats again for Wissa because I think it's fair. But Jan Wissa is just fucking exceptional, isn't he, really? You go to his first season, right? The 21-22 season. 7 goals, 1 assist in 30 games. It's decent, it's not insane. You'd go, that kind of makes sense for where Brentford were. Second season, 7 goals, 3 assists. It's decent, 10 goals, assist in 38 games, played every single game. Dependable enough, sort of around that level you'd expect for Brentford, right? But then, in the season after that, 23-24 season, 12 goals, 3 assists, and this was the season, by the way, Brentford finished 16th. Played 34 games. That's very, very good stats. Whatever you say is great stats. I mean, there's a lot of players, again, who are considered by many to be a better player than Wissa, who had nowhere near of a good stats nor season in general in that season in comparison to Wissa. And then this season, 9 goals and 1 assist in 15 games. He's had some injuries as well. Yeah, it's enough said. He is an incredible player. He's obviously not quite at the same level as Mbeumo, but he's just very, very good. He really is very, very good. I do not remember who this is. I'm really sorry. Fuck. See, this is what happens when you don't fucking script. That's not Step. No. I think it's midfield. Is it? No, I'm questioning myself. It's Ryan Trevitt, yes. Again, youth player, loan / not ready yet. I would say is probably the best I could say for him. What I would actually do quickly on this, if I go to one of these players quickly, I put Younes on here / not ready yet. I think he is genuinely not that far off being ready, but I think a loan in January could do him the world of good. Same as Magoma, honestly. I think these two, there's more reason, I mean, maybe Magoma just because the left back has been, actually, yeah, I would argue, but I think Younes could definitely use that. Same as Ryan Trevitt, loan, yeah. You're now average at best, decent backup central defensive midfielder / central midfielder, backup player. Again, maybe could go if you got some of the youth players coming through, but right now, fine enough. Who the fuck is that? We're going to quickly move on from that one. So genuinely, why does he look like Yarmolenko? I know it's not him, but he looks like him. It's throwing me off, because I know it's not. Who the fuck is that, man? Oh, fuck, it is Yarmolenko. Who the fuck is this? That's Sepp Vandenberg. Oh, I'm so sorry. I would say average or best for Sepp Vandenberg. He's a very decent player, who I did think was going to be a good enough player when he came in. I think he got a bit of criticism for that signing from Irish guy, who, by the way, elbow knowledge. I'm just saying elbow knowledge. But let's be real, young, very good at mines last season. Give him time, genuinely could break into that first team. Yarmolenko, as I say, we put him in need more games to starts. Vormurison, I actually really rate Vormurison, but he needs more games to starts. I think he's young enough, young Icelandic goalkeeper. I think he's 22, 23 now. Young, but I do think there is definitely a good player in there. Will he get the game time he needs at this kind of age, though? Well, that's the debatable bit. But that is that's Keane Lewis Potter, yes, of course. Keane Lewis Potter, pretty good player. I would argue you could even push him up here if you wanted to, but considering I think that front three is pretty much nailed on, I would find it harder to do that. I do think he is genuinely a very decent player who is not quite getting the respect he deserves yet. I think give him a bit more time. Honestly, not saying future England international, but could be one of those players that's always sort of maybe even gets like a singular cap. I genuinely think he could, just about getting a bit more game time, obviously, in that first team. Shad, however, I want to quickly give a little shout out to. I'm going to honestly put Shad in pretty good, because I always really liked Shad as a player. I thought there was definitely a very good player in there. The problem I had with him is he just didn't score for a long while. And he played decent. I didn't even think he played that badly, but he just didn't score for a long while. I think the potential has always been there. A lot of people have known the potential has always been there. Needed to break into that first team and then just start scoring goals, and he has finally done that. He's been exceptional these past few games, and I think he could genuinely, if this is going to be his breakout season, I'm very happy for it, because he deserves it. He's a very, very good player, and I think genuinely, again, a Germany call-up at some point, I would not be surprised. I think he is that kind of level player. I think genuinely very good player. And then finally, Ethan Pinnock, who I'm actually going to put him pretty good. I know he hasn't been exceptional this season, but I really do rate Ethan Pinnock. I think for what I expected of Pinnock in particular, he's been calm and composed, but he can still make a pass. Very much, he's a Jamaican international, experienced obviously at 30, 31 I think now, but I still think he is very much been their best centre back this season. I think I might be confusing with someone else, but I think he's been out for a bit, but still been good for me. And I'll finish it now because I realised how long this has been going on for, but hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Leave a comment, by the way, if you guys want to ask for a specific team to do this on next, by the way. Bye.